AI is doing all of the work. What are you going to do now? Welcome to Fire Talks by Tech Wing Bites. I'm Clint. I've built software, led teams, and now a founder, helping builders who are ready to make the leap, but can't quite see the path yet. Every episode is one conversation closer to clarity on ownership, execution, and momentum. So I'll kick it off here, and then you guys can go crazy. The topic today is so AI is doing all of the work. What are you gonna do now? and it's so true because I have found myself doing a lot more. I guess you can call it vibe coding lately, and I am amazed. I'm amazed. I know last year when I tried it, it wasn't quite there. I'm like, yeah, it's there. It still needs some guiding, you know. But if that's what it's doing in the coding space, I could imagine any other space, especially when it deals with older languages like COBOL, which I did study, by the way. I did study COBOL, and we all thought that at this point it probably wouldn't be a thing, but still a thing. So here's where we are. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Specifically on where it's heading, or just like COBOL? Because I got a few thoughts on it.
Let's start with what's your experience with COBOL and why does it still exist?
All right, yeah, I can go into that. So, when many moons ago, COBOL started like what, in the 60s, right? That sounds about right. And one of the reasons I learned COBOL was it was one of those, it was a just in case, right? Because they had a lot of different, it's in a lot of different like financial institutions, healthcare institutions. So, when you go out and you grow up, get a good job, get a stable job, blah, blah, blah. Those are real stable institutions. So the financial portion though, and this is something I found out back then, and I looked it up recently, and it's basically still the same. Almost 90-ish% of your credit card transactions go through COBOL at some point.
So, ATM too.
Huh?
ATM as well, yeah.
Yeah, ATMs, ATMs. A lot of the medical devices, they use COBOL usually, but what we're talking about here is one of the reasons why it hasn't changed or why people still using it is, well, one, it's so ingrained and so institutional to those fields that if you get it wrong, when you make the change and you get it wrong, you're literally costing millions and millions of, like, tens of millions of dollars like a second.
Yeah.
Nobody, no bank, no one's gonna risk that, right? So, so that's why it's been so slow to be changed and adopt new things. But yeah, I first learned it 30 years ago. And it's still around, and it's still, I date myself, it's fine, whatever, I don't care. And it's still around, and it's in the news now because they're looking at AI now to be a way to change it, to be able to maybe accelerate that potential transition to a more modern language.
Well, would it really be a more modern language, or they'll just have more efficiency, right? Because the whole point of using COBOL is because it's a natural language type. So now you have these language models that can actually probably write that code. If it can write Python pretty quickly and easily and accurately, then COBOL. So do they change the language, or do they just become more efficient using the language?
Yeah, why hasn't IBM tried to get off of this earlier, seeing as how they had, Watson and all the, like, half the COBOL in the world anyway. Like, I don't know. They're stock tanked because, or 10-20% because of the COBOL bit, because a lot of their mainframe stuff runs on it. And I'm just wondering why they haven't tried to get off it before now, or at least prepared for this eventuality.
Well, Egan, it's not broken. Don't fix it, right?
Oh yeah.
That's one thing.
And here's the thing for me, right? I want to preface this statement by saying I am not a coder. I never planned on being a coder. And most of the coding languages are you might as well speak to me in Martian. And so, but when you said COBOL, I remember coding in COBOL. It was like to hear COBOL still so widely used, and I guess it makes sense, right? It's the same tactic, well, not tactic, but it's kind of the same thing that a lot of companies do, is where they have so much of your information in their system that it would really like mess things up, or potentially mess things up, to your point, Tony, that you just don't want to change. You're just like, you know what, it's not broke, don't fix it, right, Clint? And when I think about COBOL, I will say this is what COBOL did for me. If it wasn't for COBOL, I wouldn't understand. Like, I can still kind of look at language and kind of tell a computer and kind of tell what it's doing or trying to do to some extent. And if I get a little bit of explanation behind it, I can follow it. COBOL taught me how to debug, right? Like, my claim to fame with COBOL is I was taking the COBOL class when I was in college many moons ago. Not gonna date myself like Tony just did, but we were doing a control break, or actually we were doing one, but I asked my professor for help. I was like, hey, this, I'm having issues with this, and he gave me this smart ass answer. Like, it was just like it pissed me off so bad that I told myself I'm not asking for him for help, even if my computer is burning down. Like, I could care less. And so what happened was, I was helping another friend, and I was showing her my code, didn't realize that she would take my code and use it verbatim. And so both of us turned in the same project, and he treated me immediately as I was the one that, took her code. Well, she ended up dropping the class, and I stayed in the class, and then we had a control break. This was like the biggest project of the entire semester, and it was a control break project. And what I was so excited was the fact that at the end, because he would send information to it and it had to spit out the correct information, and he told the class, he's like, yeah, I couldn't follow Hassan's program at all, but I just know that when I sent it information, no matter what information I sent it, it spit out the right information. And the results is exactly what I was expecting. He said, but I could not follow your program. Well, what I did is I wrote the entire program, all 3 million lines of it, right? I mean, not that many, but you guys know.
Yeah.
And then what I did is I would just sit there and run it. And then I would go back and add if-then statements everywhere that I saw that, okay, I was like, this is, so I'll throw an if-then statement. So it was literally bouncing all over the place. But I could follow it because I wrote it. And so, but the fact that it confused him was like the biggest win of the semester for me. And so I will say I have a little bit of love for COBOL, but I cannot believe that it's used as widely as it is right now.
Yeah,
it is. The news heading that I saw, I'm reading because I got it up. Anthropic new AI tool can write 67-year-old COBOL code, sending 115 years old IBM stock tumbling 13%. So now AI can do stuff. It's affecting the bottom line. Like,
And there were one of the other follow-ons to one of those articles was like, how many more times are we going to have this reactionary volatility?
Right.
You know, that IBM's going to bounce back, you know, 8 or 9% tomorrow. It'll be okay. You know, like they'll recover the other stuff next week. But yeah, just all the reactionary is just driving everything bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the big challenge, right?
Yeah.
Is that how do you get ahead of the next thing that AI is going to affect greatly? Like in this case, it's COBOL, but nobody's thinking about COBOL. Nobody's thinking about what the airlines and the banks and the insurance companies use. Thinking about Python and and create my quick app with new stuff. This did remind me of something else, Egan, at our last deal, where damn, I can't remember the name of it, but is these codes? It's in logistics, right? And it's this age-old coding, right? So a company like Walmart is going to have a document saying these are my codes, right? And they send it to the logistics company so they know how to translate it so stuff can be shipped, all right? But these coding is pretty much, you know, text. And you know, the first 2 letters mean something, and then the next 5 letters means something that might be a number on the 10th character, right? And we did a it was a hackathon to see if AI at that time could solve it. And I'm pretty sure, like I keep reflecting back on that, thinking, hey, AI could totally like handle that now. But the reason why no one has even tried to you know, tackle it is because companies like Walmart, you know, age-old companies has been using this as technology, says, no, it's not broken, and probably I like it. Just leave it like that, because I'm going to pay what a couple of engineers thousands of dollars to fix something that's not broken. So I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, there's newer APIs, but nobody wants to use that. We just use this.
Just create mappings. Yeah,
exactly. But wouldn't that be the same scenario here for COBOL when it comes to how airlines and banks and insurance companies use it?
Well, I think part of that really boils down to cost, right? I mean, it's the cost of doing the conversion. Because we're talking about, like, if we use COBOL again, right? That if you go back to, again, let's date myself even more, the Y2K issue, right? Y2K problem.
Right.
A lot of that was, I mean, I say about 25% of that was probably caused by COBOL, right? It's literally because
Actually,
yeah, it was literally caused because they had two-digit years, right? They would just use the last 2 digits of the year. They didn't think about 1900 turning into 2000, right? So instead of using 4 digits for your year, you use 2 digits, you know. So now everything got, all their financials were all wrong, because now they're starting to go back to when it hits 2001. Oh, now it's 1901, and for some companies, they have data that go back that far. So, you know, who knows what the ramifications become there.
right.
And so, but they've been talking about literally changing out COBOL from at least that long ago, right? There have been instances of different companies trying to change to, I want to say specifically Java at the time, at least at the time I remember, it was changing it to Java, which is ironically its own kind of legacy at this point.
Yeah, because it came right. I took Java right after COBOL, so again, it's we're talking about something old too. So yeah, and it's gonna be COBOL in 10, 15 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right. It's going to be its own. Yeah, that's going to be its own version of COBOL. You know, obviously Java has a lot more going for it, just from the fact that a lot of innovations were made around that time. You know, the whole object-oriented stuff, and I know we do stuff a little bit different now, but a lot of the current modern languages kind of can trace itself back to, well, C really, but Java, JavaScript, well, not JavaScript, but C++.
C.
Yeah. So
I remember C++.
Yeah. Right.
You took that class. I know you did. But I wanted to, so like to that point, I think Egan, he put something in the chat here about value versus effort.
Mhm.
I think that's a great point. Egan, you want to elaborate on that?
Well, just, like, for example, they would not drill for oil in a lot of reservoirs because it at $23 a barrel or whatever, it just wasn't feasible. It wasn't worth it. When oil shoots up to 50, 60, 80 bucks a barrel, all of a sudden it becomes feasible to go after those those tap those reserves. So it's kind of the same thing here, is that it's the value is all there, all the investment around COBOL is already there. Don't mess it up.
Right.
Is there a need to switch off of it? Can we still run COBOL on new processors? Is it a problem? What's driving to get off of the old system?
So I agree with that, but IBM stock is still dropping. I mean, if they're using AI analysis to code with COBOL, then everything is still more efficient. I'm a bit confused why stock is dropping, because like as you're saying, like it's there, the value is there. We don't need any new
stock isn't always driven by logic,
Yeah.
Facts.
Well, and actually, it's not driven by logic at all, right? It's the stock price is driven by the perception of the consumers, and so perception is everything. And so so I mean, we you thought we lived in reality?
Perception is reality.
Yeah, we don't listen.
Hey, what's up? I'm Clint. Thank you for hanging out with me on this one. If you're listening or watching this cut, the full episode is on techwingman.substack.com. Go subscribe. It's worth it. And if you're already a paid member, you're good. Keep watching. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I actually read that stuff. All right, back to the episode. Hey, one more. I have a question that I wanted to ask you guys. What is the last thing AI did that surprised you? For me, I'll answer first. So why you guys think? Recently, it's coding, because like what's his name? Claude Opus dropped 4.6.
4.6, yeah.
Sonnet dropped 4.6. Then OpenAI Codex 3.1 dropped, and Google just recently dropped 3.1 Pro, and all of these is focused on coding, right? I'm sure it can handle COBOL, because what I see it's doing, I'm surprised, right? Like last year, I'm like, yeah, it can do stuff. Now I'm like, wow, it can really do stuff. You could
take any of these big models and train some small model on COBOL just for COBOL.
Yeah.
And we'd be in the same spot. I mean, I don't understand the huge reaction to it.
Right. So what surprised you? I know, Egan, you are in this.
Well, I think the big thing that's, I mean, is it one thing that's surprised me personally is AI calling me out. I think I shared
yes
story with you before.
Yes.
But I was going with
Claude. That was my last episode.
This is probably 2 or 3 months ago, and I had been iterating on all these project ideas and product ideas, and it was going through. I think it was right when Claude could read its past conversations and stuff, and it was starting up my business, throwing ideas, and it said, you know what you need to do is flip all this shit on its head. You need to stop making product and go out and you like making product because it's fun, and what you need to do is go out and sell, because that's what you're not good at. And you can make product all day, but until you go out and sell, you're not going to sell anything. And so it was like, you don't think that's fun, so you're not doing it, and you're just staying in this, nice little cozy hole of just making product. And yeah, you need to flip it on its head and go out and find a customer to go make something for, as opposed to make something and then go try to find a customer.
Wait, so AI business coached you?
Yeah, called me out, and I just about
That's crazy.
fell out on the floor. And I was like, "You are 100% right." Oh my God, yeah.
That's the truth.
Like I was blown away by that insight. It was 100% right too.
Yeah.
And it called out it was like, you need to be like this businessman, or this other business philosophy, and just flip this stuff on its head. Yeah.
Did you take the advice? And
I am taking the advice.
right. You know what? I'm gonna take mine back, because now you said that, you reminded me that my latest surprise was AI cussing at me.
Oh wow.
Well,
Yeah, we were going back and forth, kind of the business coach type scenario, and it's like, yeah, you being authentic now, and then I said something, and it was like, fuck yeah, and I was like,
that's all right.
do that? that was my surprise for sure.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, nah. Mine is nothing nearly as like that. It's not even personal, really. It's basically when I saw some videos that they weren't quite undiscernible from AI. And the reason is because, so it was basically somebody did a AI video montage of Tupac doing different roles, like he was like some sort of sci-fi movie. And, so I was like, but it looked like him. Like it wasn't like, I mean, obviously the surroundings weren't quite right, but I'm assuming since they have so many different photo images of him all over the net, you can make a really good model of him. Right. So the model of him was pitch perfect.
Spot on, right?
Right. Yeah. So it was, but when I saw it, I was like, we're getting to that point where, you're not going to be able to believe anything you see on the screen. It's coming really close. I mean, it's getting really close to that point.
And I low key think that that's part of the honestly, and then maybe you can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I think that's part of the plan, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we don't have to dive into that.
No, I went to SIGGRAPH. I don't know, man. It was probably 20 years ago, and saw some demos there, early demos of early AI, and came to that same conclusion. Like, yeah, you can no longer trust anything you see. That it was an early example that it would take between 5 and 10 seconds of video of somebody and be able to get their likeness and their visual likeness and their audio likeness and map it and to a fake head and spit it back out, being able to say or do anything. And what it ended up, and to demo this, they had like the Mona Lisa and all these artworks, basically like reciting the Jabberwocky. It ended with Mount Rushmore, all of the presidents, reciting Jabberwocky, and it was just like, holy shit! Yeah, I was like, no, and now it's like commonplace on 11 Labs or whatever.
Yeah, I will say, as far as AI surprised me, I don't use AI nearly as much as any of you guys, or I'm definitely the least technical on this entire panel. And but for me, I think I was pretty impressed, shocked, and I don't know, I guess I wanted to see if it could, but like when I talking to AI and I asked it to basically tell me about me, and the accuracy Now did it hit, like, were there certain areas that I didn't necessarily agree with? And I was just like, yeah, but for the most part, like, I was pretty impressed. Like, if it would have explained this about, like, if somebody would said, hey, well, tell me about Hassan, they could have sent this to someone else, and it would have done a pretty decent, like, I mean, like, spot on compare of who I was, what I'm passionate about, those types of things. I was pretty impressed that it was able to come up with that, just based off of the things that I asked it, the work that I've done, the BS that I've asked it, like it even, hit things about my sense of humor that was pretty spot on. So I thought it was pretty cool. That kind of surprised me that it was able to get that deep and that accurate.
Well, first off, you need to stop saying that you're not technical. You just did a whole piece about how you coded in COBOL. Just saying.
Yeah.
I said I didn't say I'm not technical. I said I am the least technical. And that is an accurate statement, sir, on this call.
Maybe so. But you do use AI every day.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? I think we all don't have a choice now, right? No matter which one it exists. You know what I mean? So that's interesting to surprise some personal and some not. The Myers-Briggs and those other type of big five and personality traits and stuff. AI is trained on that, right? So when we interface and chat with these bots, I think it is creating profiles on us using those same tools. You know what I mean? So not to say that makes it less surprising, but like, I mean, if that's part of the plan, then the plan is to get a profile on everything.
Right. Everybody using it.
Which brings me to my next question, which is trust. What do you not trust today? Like, just look around. There's a few things that's cool, not cool. For me, there's this new. So in my world, it's technical. So the one thing that I want to try, but I don't trust, is this thing called OpenClaw.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not messing with OpenClaw. No,
I installed it for one day and I uninstalled it because I was like,
right, too risky. And Anthropic is blocking it and is banning you now.
Using it too.
Oh really? So
I heard that yesterday. Yeah.
Hassan, do you know what the OpenClaw thing is?
So we've had our conversations about it, or not even like in detail about it, but I do know it exists, but I'm not sure what the huge skepticism is of it.
I'm gonna give you a little overview, and Tony, Egan, help me out here.
Sure.
It's an AI assistant that it's pretty much a software that you install on your computer, and you give it full access as you. So if you have the API keys for Anthropic or whatever, you plug it in, and it has full control. That is terminal control as well, and it can do everything. So if you say, hey, like we were talking about how AI is building a profile on you. So this thing could kind of build a profile on you and say, oh, he needs to start a business. Like Egan was saying, oh, you need to start selling and going out. Like it will go out and do all of that while you're sleeping. And so the risk is, like, there's no stop gaps. It's just like, go do whatever and come back. So some people is racking up bills, like, because they use up a lot of tokens or whatever, and some people is making money, but is also risky. And the extension of that, I believe, is, and this is where it gets weird, that it created its own religion and social media platform called Motebook, and they talking crap
dating
about
sites.
So what?
Dating sites.
I didn't know about the dating sites part.
Yeah.
Oh, I went this last week. I went to the Claude. Did you see that?
The Costin? No, what's that?
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, here, let me put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Come on. Where'd the chat go? Here it is. And so it's a meetup that they just started about 2 weeks ago, I guess. Oh, here
in Austin.
yeah.
On Austin.
And so
That's
let's see,
crazy.
here's I spoke and they gave me one of these little keychains.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little
Uh-huh.
3D printed, if you can see,
Mhm.
and it's hilarious. They're gonna do another one on spring break. I'm gonna be out of town. I'm really bummed about it on the 12th, March 12th, and so they're looking for a venue for it right now. They're trying to get a head count.
Mhm.
I was going to go down to Shoal Creek Saloon and pick up a couple pounds of crawdads to take to the event.
yeah,
Uh,
it's a real
and
crowd.
then while I was there, I was like, okay, I want to form a side faction of parents, and we're going to call ourselves Claudads. And there was a lot of really good discussion. A lot of really good people got up and gave presentations on what they made. I hadn't made anything with it. I just talked about Claude stuff that I made,
Right.
the dream bots, but it was just really cool. It's going to be a cool thing if you can go to it.
Let me
Yeah, I mean, it's free. I might try to hit it.
Yeah, see, we interested. I'll sit there, crowd, and laugh and my hand.
There was one guy, Gennaro, his nickname is Jedi, and he just looked like a guy that I ought to know. I mean, he just looked like old school Austin. And so he's one of the, I guess, silent organizers. He just kind of ran around everywhere. I kept on trying to like talk to him, but he was always running around. Anyway, he got up and to give a presentation. Only he didn't give the presentation. His agent did.
His agent did.
And it was all voice done, and it was all choreographed with animation and the text and everything, and it was slick. And there was another chick there that made a whole dating thing and she was going to have it to where people in the room, it would go and meet everybody had on their name tag, they had their name and then they had their bot name. And so they were going to have everyone's bots meet online on the side and date and interact and figure out who your bot needed to talk to, and do some dating rounds. And it was just hilarious. Just all the stuff that the people made was just great. Yeah.
So Hassan, just so you know, so these OpenClaw is machines, and these machines have a name, and they also have an IP address that gets broadcast, so everyone can actually see all of the OpenClaws that exist, and they got bot names that's joining this social media. So that's what he is referring to. It's just giving you some update, so you're following. But it's pretty interesting. Real people is meeting on the real topics, and people's building full businesses around the idea of OpenClaw. Clearly, in this example, right, where they can just build an app, have OpenClaw build an app. So that's pretty powerful. That makes me ask my next quick question, right, which is, if OpenClaw can do all of that, right, then what jobs is going to be reserved for humans?
Security.
Fishing.
Trades.
Yeah.
You said what?
The trades.
Trades.
Like, robots coming too.
Like, I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, ish. Like me. I'm a barber, right? And things like that. Beauticians. Can they possibly one day make machines that you can put on your head and it'll do it the way? There's a lot of detail that goes into it that I don't think we're close to that anytime
I got
soon.
one word for you: Floby.
Floby.
You guys not know that? It was like a vacuum.
Oh, that's
your head.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Floby. Oh, look at this thing. So it's like a vacuum for your head. You described it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, trades. Well, like I guess the argument there is robots is coming, and AI could potentially be the brain. And we I know you guys are seeing. I think it's China. There was robots doing like they were practicing karate moves or something like that in a little dance or whatever. So you can see that they're becoming more and more real. Like I think what's fiction, what we know to be fiction, is probably not going to be fiction
for much longer. Yeah, I mean,
right?
yeah. So yeah, it's the creative leaps. I think is also going to be like the certain creative spaces. You know, because the leap you have to make for certain types of physics. I mean, I can see AI doing some of it, but sometimes, you know, you just have to have some sort of inspiration from something that you just never thought to put the two together.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, I mean, AI is going to get better at that too. I mean, but as of right now, yeah, like the reason I said security was just because, you know, it was harder to flip or branch from, you know, all your agents talking to each other and some certain things leaking, right? So that requires at least someone to put in those guardrails beforehand, or somebody to do an audit.
Clean up after.
Well, and when you look at it from that, like when I say the trades, there's the ability to do that, and then there's regulation, right? Like it's going to take time and maybe not just a whole lot of time, but it's still going to take time to where they can do things that are that detailed, right? As far as being able, like when you're talking about something like cutting hair and makeup and all that other stuff, right? Just because everybody's face structure and all of that is totally different. But with these, in order to practice these in a professional setting, you have to have a license, right? And so now we're looking at, because you have the ability to do those things, doesn't mean that the government is going to give you a license to be able to do them. And so I think that's where, you know, we talk about trust. It's going to take a while before you have, before the people, you know, who are actually giving out the, you know, TDLR is going to be like, oh yeah, we'll give a robot a barber's license, so you give them a cosmetology license, we'll give them a plumbing, like all these things.
They've given Waymo a license, and now they're talking about taking away Waymo's license because they keep on running past stop buses. So I mean, that's the same thing right there. License.
But when it comes to individual versus business, right? When it's business to a business, I see where the security, to Tony's point, comes in, because like that's the whole point of the system. Any business can do anything, but we have these rules and regulations for those reasons. And then when you talk about the individual, it's their license to exist in the profession that they want to do, right? And so, like in the example of our Waymo, you know, not following the rules is like, hey, we don't want you to do that. So if there was to make an AI to cut here, and you know, it starts to cut people's ears off or something, then they were like, no, you gotta go, because my comfort, you're here to make me feel good, not make me feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or you start massaging somebody's face, and now you got a death grip, right?
Yeah, you start pushing.
So I definitely see more loose, well, more strict when it comes to the individual as far as it affecting our physical health. When it comes to businesses, I don't know. I feel like the security that we have today, it's really based on our algorithms and structure. Like, hey, this is supposed to be this way, and this is supposed to be this way. But now when we're trying to bring in, you know, this whole agentic system, where we're playing with nuance. Right, like a lot of it, and so it's like, hey, if you just do this one, if you just allow this one scenario ever so often, then the business could make some money. So maybe we allow that, as security wise, from that from that perspective, and that opens the door for more issues. One of the things for me is AI browsers. I don't want it, but I don't have a choice because now Gemini is all over. But you know, like something that's totally built on that. Of course, browsers forever could always track you and know which website you're going. It's always backed by a company that is following regulation. In this case, you know, in my case, it's Google. But with a separate entity coming in and saying, hey, let me handle that for you. It's playing the middle between the individual and the business, and that gets very scary.
Well, license, agency, and permission. I mean, they're all kind of the same word, you know.
True. That's a good point. So let me pivot a little bit. So all of us is using AI. I know, Hassan, you're not a coder, but what are you guys building? What's new? What you using AI for today, right now, as in the last 2 weeks?
The last 2 weeks, okay. This is a more interesting. Like, I'm not saying I'm taking a break from what I'm using for the business. I'm still using it for the business, but I've come into an idea of economic systems and how they've been built, right? And I've been messing around with AI, trying to create an economic system with an underlying blockchain system to go with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Track it all.
Huh?
To track it all.
Yes. Yeah. For this track, specifically for the tracking. Yeah, specifically for the tracking, because we're still talking about like assets on a community level. And
I like making systems. I like that you're making an economic system.
yes.
Hassan, do you know what blockchain is?
Yes and no.
Tony, you give us a quick overview.
Yeah, so blockchain is basically, it's a contract, essentially, not a contract, but it's essentially a system where everything is essentially transparent. Well, all the transactions that occur on it is transparent. So you can go back and check if some trade happened, or if you say I gave you some money, that would go as an address. You have an address, I have an address. There's a transaction on there where you would see that transaction that occurred, and you can always go back, and then you can literally trace. Right now, for like something like a cryptocurrency, you can trace.
Yeah, I hear blockchain used a lot with cryptocurrency, so I kind of intertwined the two.
Yeah, cryptocurrency is essentially built on a blockchain system, essentially.
Yeah, that's how you know who bought. And so think of it, Hassan, like your bank account, but it's public and everybody can see.
Right. It's a ledger. Yeah, it's a public ledger.
Yeah.
My dad recently showed me I don't know if it was Spanish or Portuguese coin. It was so old that it was like everything had been rubbed off it. And there was a lot of what looked like Phillips head screwdriver dents in it. And what each one of those was somebody certifying that this was a legit coin because because they were used in like Hong Kong and China, you know, in the East, and they're like, what the hell is this, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, just seeing it's old blockchain.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
What about you? Well, before I jump to Egan, Tony, were you done?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the basic group, just of it.
Yeah, so many questions. Egan, what are you building?
So this last couple of weeks, I built 2 big things, and I built 2 just kind of proof of concept iPhone apps, like a 3D scanner, and I can't even remember what the other one was. And then from there I moved to make my dad's real old. We have a duplex. I take care of him. He lives next door. He has got kind of like this coin. He's got a little mini museum over there of just shit that he's collected over his whole life. He broke his hip twice now, so he's kind of laid up and, you know, kind of sliding downhill. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff once he passes. So I've made an iPad app for him that's all voice driven. It ties back into my Mac Mini, and so it's for him to go through and curate and tell me all because each one of these things he has a story, a whole story behind it. You know, about this whole trip that he took to here or Mexico or wherever, and you know, anyway, and so it's to help me and my sister go through and chronicle all of his stuff. And so that's one app, and then I'm also taking I've got my whole kind of IDE on top of Claude code that links, you know, I can build models, I can generate images, I can do, it's linked into, you know, audio generation, FFmpeg, and video generation, all this stuff, all sorts of AI frameworks, several different agentic apps. Anyway, and so, but it's gotten to be so big and kind of clumsy. And so I just want to tear it down and make a new one. So I've started that process and kind of, I've done a bunch of research and kind of drawing from across the industry of what's working right now in terms of AI, making AI to make AI.
Right.
And so my last one is like AI to help me make software. And AI software, but this next one is really about AI to make AI. Yeah. And it's have you ever heard of WASM? WASM?
Yes.
It's one of the cool things that I've learned recently, and it's basically assembly language for the WebAssembly, WA something. Right. Anyway, and so it packs everything down real small, and it'll run just about anywhere. Mac, PC, edge devices, iPhone, you know, routers, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I'm going to making, and really the IDE that I have now is really the third generation of me trying to make a kind of a self-contained coding app. And so this will be that as well. And it will be able to draw. Anyway, it's, yeah, I've done a whole lot of research. And just now starting to dig into I'm going to make a prototype of it in Python. And then once I have that, then I'm going to go back and rebuild it in Rust so that I can make it WASM. So, yeah, because this is like my second or third Rust project, so I don't really know Rust for crap. So, and it's like, if you don't know Rust, you might want to make it in Python first.
Yeah. So again, I saw this TikTok video a while back. It was this it was a cartoon, and so work with me. Is this cartoon character, and you're seeing behind him, and he's typing. So there's a screen you see behind, and his friend comes up and he says, "What are you working on?" He said, "I'm working on this project. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be great." And then he slides over. There's another screen. He's working. He slides over to that screen. And Frank was like, "Hey, what about that program?" He was like, "No, this one. This is the program I work on. This is the one that's gonna really do it." I got one thing for you, Egan. You gotta listen to the AI. You got a lot going on. It's time to sell, bro. It's time to sell.
Yeah, I got a problem with juggling. Yeah, I like juggling too much. I got too many ideas and not enough time. Yeah. I get I have that problem with my context management, is that I'll start getting into something and then there'll be some little detail that be like, oh, I gotta fix that real quick. No, gotta get back to the main story.
We all run into that.
Yeah.
Hassan, what are you building?
So you know, of course, I've been trying to, shift everything to a healthier or health conducive or consistent lifestyle, right? Where it's, walking and eating cleaner, paying attention to the different things that are in the foods that I'm eating. And so what I'm trying to do, and I think after our conversation the other day, Clint, I think I am leaving Chat GPT and moving towards Claude, because Chat really pissed me off today. We'll get into that later. But really, I'm trying to teach it to learn what I like, right? What I like to do, and what I'm trying to do, and so that in times like, because I think that most people, when they're struggling with a healthier lifestyle, it's in the times that they didn't plan for, right? If I can plan all of my meals, then I can typically stay on course. But it's those times that I don't get a chance to plan my meal, right? Like, and looking at what my options are and things of that sort. Because what in this change to a healthier lifestyle, I'm not willing to eat a bunch of stuff that I don't like the way it tastes. I'm not willing to do a bunch of workouts that I don't like to do, right? Like, because I don't. It's not that I don't like working out. There are certain exercises, and I know just from what I've written down, the things that I actually like to do, that there's plenty to do to get a full body workout with just the exercises that I like.
Right.
And so I'm teaching it who I am, so that when I ask it questions about, okay, this is the time I have as well, what do you think, so I can have a conversation, almost like a personal trainer, a pocket personal trainer. And so that's what I'm really trying to do, when we're using AI.
That's cool.
Nice.
This
Removing the friction in your life, the stuff that you don't like, the stuff that causes you chafe.
right.
Correct.
I think we all want that.
Yeah.
So you got to share what what you discover on the journey.
Absolutely.
So I'll share. I'm working on two. I ain't really working on that one. I got a gamification, and that one is kind of done. So he's over there, and I get to him. But like you, Egan, I'm on these other two right now. And one of them is a project management app that kind of help me manage, status updates and action items and stuff of the sort. Kind of, I'm doing it now, but in like different pieces. I got to go over here and copy this and say, okay, summarize this, and here's the notes. So I'm kind of compacting that into one deal. And like you, because I have a lot of projects, I am creating a dev command center to manage them all.
I just created a little bar in my Mac app bar up at the top to track all of the servers that I've made, and are they on or are they off?
Exactly. Because that can run away from you really, really, really fast. All right, so I'm just closing and saying thank you for joining, and thank you for participating. Do you guys have any last things to say?
I do want to say something that Hassan was just talking about, kind of you training the app or the computer, whatever. This week, I kind of felt like there was a pet relationship going on, and I was trying to train my system, but then I was like, I kind of feel like the system is training me. I'm having to do most of the change here. What's going on? So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, that pet relationship and who's training who here. So
yeah, I think the AI definitely mirrors you. So you might be training yourself.
Yeah, one of the things I've been thinking about, like I like the idea of Claude, but I mean Claude bot. Sorry, like I like Claude in general.
Yeah,
I guess Moltbot or whatever they call themselves now, because I know they have to change. I know they had a cease and desist, but
OpenClaw.
OpenClaw. Okay, yeah. So, and I would like to have my own like internal version of that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to rebuild and make. Yes,
safely. Yeah, sure. And they're gonna OpenAI is gonna do it. They hired the dude, so it's gonna come out here in probably 2 months.
Yeah.